So you've probably thought about selling products in the USA without being a US citizen. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to do so for your business legally. Let's make sourcing easy. Now this all sounds good until it comes down to the implementation. Note that I will be straight to the process when it comes to this, and it's going to take time and money. So if you don't have any of these, it's probably not something you should consider. And if you stick around to the end, I will break down the estimated cost and the timeline of having this all set up. Now, a quick disclaimer, this does not apply to people that are in the sanctions list for the USA. I don't make the rules, it's just the way it is. So now let's go to what you need to actually have this whole thing started. You'll need a passport, and you may be able to get away with a local ID, but it just makes it easier because a passport is internationally recognized. You will need a US address. You will need a US phone number. You will need an EIN. This is essentially a ID for your business. You get an ID number for your business to be registered in the US. If you're not a US citizen that uses social security numbers, you'll need an ITIN, which is for foreigners. You will need a US bank account to obviously receive the funds when you get paid, and you will need a payment processor to be able to accept goods and payments for your platform. Note that patience is very important in this process, as this can take between 7 days to 2 months, depending on the state in the US you plan to file, because the timelines and the regulations are different for each state. I will be putting links for all these services in the description down below. I am not sponsored by any of these, and I have personally used them. If you click on these links, it will actually support my channel as an affiliate, and I would greatly appreciate it, but it is not 100% mandatory. The choice is yours. So first, you need a USA address, and you're probably thinking, how do I get a US address? And you also need a place to be able to receive mail and deal with any correspondences you may get for your business or from your customers. I've personally used Anytime Mailbox, but they're essentially a mail forwarding service that can provide you a US address. They have different pricings for different states. So if you establish a company in the state of Florida, you would have to register in the state of Florida for your address. Be very specific on what kind of address you need. There are a couple. There's a PO box, which is just a little space inside of a post office that you get a little box and can use, or an actual real address that can receive, utility bills and all that. Why do I mention this? Is because some banks don't allow for virtual or remote addresses or PO boxes to open a bank account. So be very clear on what kind of address you need, and they'll be able to provide it for you. But what this service does is that they deal with all your mailing requirements. They can scan any mail that comes in, they can shred any mail that comes in, and they can forward any mail that comes in to your final destination overseas or wherever it may be. And there's a lot more they can do, and they have pretty timely chats and customer service. Like I said, I've actually used them before because I'm in China and I've been running the business from the USA. Next is a US phone number. Again, another hurdle that may be hard for some of you. However, I was lucky and I was able to find a US phone number on Taobao, and I've tried it. Essentially, you pay for a SIM card up front, which the upfront costs tend to be a little bit more. And then afterwards, you just need to pay a minimum of $3 a month to keep this phone plan active. Realize it's just text and phone call. It is not data plans. It's up to you to keep the account current once you create an account on T-Mobile to get it started. And of course, you can check out the description below on exactly how you can get a US phone number. What I would recommend to save you money in the long term, if you're going to receive a lot of texts and a lot of phone calls, is to link that phone to Google Voice. You can easily go to google.com, search Google Voice, and link a Google Voice number to that phone number so that you can receive texts and phone calls through Google Voice, which can actually save you in the long run for any texts or phone calls you want to make. Whenever I have anything that needs to be handled in the US, I use Google Voice to do it because it just uses internet data. Then once you have the address and the phone number, you are good to actually start a business. And you can actually open a business remotely in the US, and you will get issued an EIN. As I mentioned before, The EIN is a tax number issued to you for every company in the US. Without it, you pretty much can't do anything for your business, especially when it comes to finances. So having that EIN is essential. Now you can use, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but you can use a service that I've used called Sam Molire. Now there is a legal company that specializes in doing these services for people not in the US, whether they're a US citizen or not. They help you get your company up and running and registered through the government, and their team will advise you on what kind of business and what kind of state you should register in. Because once you register a US business, then taxes come into play, maybe some sales taxes. You need to know this stuff before you decide which state you want to open your business in, because it will affect you. They have dealt with both US citizens like myself and non-US citizens, and I'm quite impressed with their response time. They're pretty quick. You also need to let this service know that you need an ITIN, which is the equivalent of a social security number or an ID card for non-US citizens. With this, you will be able to open business accounts a lot easier and be enrolled into the US system for business and as an individual. Without it, it'd be very difficult to open a US bank account. And speaking of US bank account, this is essentially the last step. And note, these are in a specific order. You need the phone number, you need the address, you need your EIN for your business, you need ITIN, then you can get a business bank account in the US. You can also consult with Sam's team about opening these accounts, as he has third-party partnerships and other people that he can lead you in the right direction to get started for your business. So if you're thinking about skipping in these steps and going straight to the bank account, it's not gonna work. You need to open the business legally through some kind of legal service. So now that you have a US business bank account, now you can deal with operations, taxes, and more for your business in the US. The final step is, wait, before going into that, if you're finding value so far, smash that like button. And if you like seeing this kind of content about sourcing and starting your business, especially from China, consider subscribing for our post videos like this on a weekly basis. And if anyone you know wants to start a company in the US and is not a US citizen, share this video with them. I'm sure they'll find some value in it. So the final step for your store is to find a payment processor. So if you're starting a like Amazon FBA, Payoneer works best for that. But if you're starting like a Shopify or WooCommerce, WordPress, then you may as well go with platforms like Stripe and PayPal. Well, now you have a US address, now you have a US bank account, now you have a US phone number. So being able to register for these platforms should be easy because you had all the admin already done beforehand. You just need to put in the information when you apply for these platforms. Essentially, these processors allow you to accept payments for credit cards or debit cards in most places around the world and to be transferred into your US bank account. If you're using Payoneer, you can actually transfer the profits to your US bank account, or you can transfer it to your home country if they're in the list of supported countries. So as promised, you stayed until the end, and I'm going to tell you roughly the estimated cost and timeline you can expect for having the business all set up. Now, I did this test run myself first. The initial cost can range between $1,000 to $3,000 depending on your situation, like what country you're from, if you're a US citizen or not, and what state you want to register your business in. After you make that initial investment, you can expect between 1 month after, maybe 1 or 2 months at the latest, for everything to be set up. And then you can expect between $10 to $50 a month to be able to keep running these services, like the US phone number, the US address, and the bank account, because some of these bank accounts have a monthly maintenance fee that you may have to deal with. So this is just from my experience. And if you're considering doing this, just have this budget set aside already so that there are no surprises when it comes to actually getting this started. Now, I just showed you the blueprint in order on how to start your business for your e-commerce store in the USA from scratch. So I hope at least that I have guided you in the right direction. It does take work. It takes time, and yes, in this case, it takes money. But it is possible if you are not a US citizen and you want to do business in the USA. Let me know your experience about opening a US company or doing business with people in the USA in the comments down below. Thanks for watching till the end, and let's make sourcing easy.
if you want to find out how to change your US dollars in your US account to RMB to pay your Chinese suppliers directly, definitely check out this video right here.